So, how does a football club with literally nothing, no players, no fans, not even a history, become one of the biggest names on the planet? Welcome to Sportx Radar's The Story of Teams. Today, we're diving deep into the bizarre and brilliant story of Chelsea Football Club, a team born completely by accident and built on pure, relentless ambition. And this quote, it says it all, doesn't it? This comes from Jose Mourinho, the man who basically built the modern Chelsea. It's an attitude that just bulldozed its way through English football. It's not about winning, it's about dominating. It's a mentality that made them champions. And let's be honest, it made them the villains for a whole lot of people. To really get the Chelsea of today, you have to go all the way back to an origin story that is completely backwards. I mean, it breaks every single rule of how you're supposed to start a football club. It doesn't start with a team or with fans, it starts with a magnificent stadium that had one huge, glaring problem. Nobody was playing in it. Okay, you have got to hear this because the way Chelsea came to be is one of the wildest stories in all of sports. This is a team that was literally invented just to fill a stadium. Just think about that for a second. A world-class venue, all ready to go, with no team to call it home. Let's just walk through this absolute gamble. So, it's 1904. A businessman named Gus Mears buys Stamford Bridge. He's got this grand vision of hosting top-flight football. He makes what seems like a no-brainer offer to the local club, Fulham. But they say no. Just flat out, no thanks. All of a sudden, Mears is stuck with this incredible stadium and what looks like a career-ending disaster. So, facing total ruin, Mears does something that was just unheard of. He's in the Rising Sun pub, right near his big, empty stadium, and he makes a decision that changed football forever. On March 10th, 1905, he didn't go out and buy a team. He just created one out of thin air. And that's how Chelsea FC was born. Not from passion, but from pure business desperation. All right, so you've got a name, you've got a stadium, but what about a soul, an identity? This new club, born from a business deal, had to figure out who they were. And for Chelsea, that journey really began with their crest. Every badge tells a part of the story, right? And Chelsea's is fascinating. They started out with the Chelsea Pensioner, which was this really cool nod to the retired soldiers in the area. But by the 50s, things needed a refresh. After a really quick, kind of plain monogram, they landed on their true icon, the rampant lion, a symbol of courage that's basically been on their shirt ever since. And this is the part that really matters. That lion wasn't just some random animal they thought looked cool. No, it was taken directly from the coat of arms of their local borough. It was them planting a flag in the ground, saying, "We are West London." That symbol of courage became the heart of who they are. What a way to build a legacy from scratch, huh? And of course, with the lion came the color that would define them forever, royal blue, the color of kings. And just like that, the identity was complete. The roaring lion, draped in royal blue. From that point on, they were, and always will be, the Blues. So, they've got the look, they've got the name, they've got the home ground, they're ready for glory. But the path for Chelsea was anything but simple. The decades that followed were just this dizzying up and down roller coaster of incredible highs and absolutely crushing lows. 50 years! Can you just wrap your head around that? For half a century, fans were waiting, hoping, dreaming. For 50 years, Chelsea was this club full of ambition, but with a totally empty trophy cabinet. And then finally, in 1955, the wait was over. They were the champions of England. That era was just a whirlwind. You had the swinging 60s, a bit of glamour and style on the King's Road. They were winning cups, even a European trophy, and had that legendary, bone-crunching FA Cup final win over Leeds. But the good times did not last. By the 80s, the dream was a full-on nightmare. The club was on the edge of disappearing, sold for the price of a chocolate bar, one single pound. They survived, somehow. They rebuilt, but they weren't a top club anymore. And then, the summer of 2003, everything, and I mean everything, changed. A mysterious Russian billionaire shows up in London, and with a single signature, he didn't just buy a football club. You could argue he bought football itself. And if you want to see the Abramovich effect in one simple image, just look at this. In almost 100 years, Chelsea won 11 major trophies. In the 2 decades after he arrived, they won 21. Just think about that. Imagine seeing your club transform like that almost overnight. It's just insane. And this wasn't just them winning a few things here and there in England. No, they became kings of Europe. They lifted that Champions League trophy twice. They were just a machine, collecting Premier League titles and FA Cups for fun. That crazy dream that Gus Mears cooked up in a pub a century earlier had finally, truly come to life. But listen, this dynasty wasn't built just on money. It was forged in steel by absolute legends. Terry, the captain, the leader; Lampard, the goal machine from midfield; Drogba, the man who showed up in every big moment. And they were all led by the master tactician Jose Mourinho. They weren't just players, they were warriors who lived to win. But you know what happens when you become the new kings, right? Everyone wants a piece of you. And in a city like London, a city packed with football royalty, Chelsea's sudden explosion to the top lit a fire under some of the most intense rivalries you will ever see. You know, what's so interesting is that Chelsea's rivalries are so different from each other. You've got the local spat with Tottenham, a constant fight over who's the top dog in London. And then you have this deep, bitter hatred with Leeds, a rivalry born from a single football match that was more like a battle. Which one do you think is more heated? The numbers here tell a really cool story. They've gone toe-to-toe with Arsenal for decades. They've pretty consistently had the edge over Tottenham. And Fulham, the team that started this whole thing by saying no to a free stadium, well, let's just say Chelsea has pretty much dominated their West London neighbors for 100 years. I bet they regret that decision. So I gotta turn this over to you. Which one is it? What's the biggest, most intense rivalry in Chelsea's history? Is it the civil war for London against Spurs and Arsenal? Or is it that old school, nasty grudge with Leeds? I definitely have my opinion, but I wanna hear yours. Let me know down in the comments. When you look at the big picture, it's a story that sounds like it's made up. A club born from desperation grows into a global giant. But now, the man who funded that empire is gone. So the huge question is, what's next for Chelsea? Can they stay at the top of the mountain, or is a whole new chapter of struggle about to begin? Before we wrap this up, I've got one last question for you. What is the one moment that, for you, defines Chelsea? For me, it has to be Drogba's winning penalty in the Champions League final. But I want to hear what you think. Tell me your moment in the comments. And hey, don't forget to like and subscribe to Sports Radar for more stories from the beautiful game.